The story you are about to hear is true.
Redneck Rampage. William Galvin Jr., charged with attempting to run over a police officer, fled Maryland on an Amtrak train, made a connection to Virginia, hopped on a metro train at Roslyn, and finally caught at Mommy's house after a 3-state chase. Dateline, Delaware, Virginia. Maryland State Police report that the Redneck Rampage, conducted by a Nimrod from the Golden Beach section of St. Mary's County who drove a stolen vehicle down railroad tracks at a police officer standing on the tracks and attempting to arrest him in Cecil County on September 6, 2019, has been arrested in Virginia. Galvin gave as his home address a Delaware, Virginia residence when cited for driving without a permit and pleading guilty in Prince George's County on May 24, 2012, and after receiving a verdict of probation before judgment with 0 time and 0 fine. That gave the police a hint of where to look for this guy. Galvin, 29, also of Doxter Drive in Mechanicsville, Maryland, came out of his mother's trailer at the end of the fugitive pursuit with his hands up after police tracked him down on his journey that would make any commuter satisfied to cover so much distance in the short time that he did. Police say he was arrested at his mother's home shortly after 5:30 p.m. September 6 by members of the Maryland State Police Apprehension Team and the U.S. Marshals Service. He's being held on charges of first-degree assault, second-degree assault, and second-degree assault on a law enforcement officer, among the many dozens of charges that will keep a team of free public defenders busy in Cecil, Charles, and Worcester counties. Galvin was arrested, or he's wanted, for allegedly driving a stolen vehicle directly at a Perryville police officer at about 2 a.m. September 6, as the officer and other law enforcement personnel were attempting to arrest him following that multi-state pursuit. Troopers in the Maryland State Police Northeast Barrack began pursuing on Maryland Route 222 a vehicle reported stolen from Charles County. According to investigators, the initial pursuit began with police in Ocean City on Jamestown Road to Route 90 in Maryland, continued through Delaware before entering back into Maryland in Cecil County. Galvin drove a stolen truck on the main line of the CSX Railroad. This moron entered Perryville, Maryland. Police say he began to drive down the CSX tracks that serve approximately 90 daily Amtrak and MARC trains and about 24 CSX and Norfolk Southern freight trains at night. Galvin would have been doomed to an ignominious death with any collision with a train, and Galvin's stolen truck likely ending his criminal career in a blaze of glory. The Perryville cops fired numerous rounds at this fugitive, but none hit the mark. Perryville Police Department officers pursued the suspect down the tracks. I finally stopped his truck and turned around and then drove towards the Perryville officers, who were then on foot. At least one they didn't take their police cars on the track. At least one Perryville officer fired multiple rounds at the suspect vehicle, say police. They said that later that none of the shots penetrated Galvin, and in fact none of the rounds fired by the Perryville police officers could be found to have hit the truck. State homicide detectives were initially detailed to investigate the police-involved shooting, but without any evidence that the Perryville police hit anything or anyone, that investigation is likely to end soon. No one else was injured as a result of the shooting. Perhaps more time on the range is needed in this strategically located police department. Investigators believe the suspect bailed out of the vehicle and ran into a wooded area. The cops surrounded the area, but Galvin slipped the police dragnet by taking the Amtrak to D.C. He slipped through the search grid and went to the Amtrak station in Wilmington, Delaware, where he boarded a southbound Amtrak train and arrived on time in Washington, D.C., where he met a metro train to Roslyn, Virginia, and took a connection to Route 66, where he may have stolen a vehicle, arranged for a ride, or got lucky hitchhiking to make it straight to Mommy's house. The dangerous desperado that he is, where could he hide? Under Mommy's bed, perhaps. Armed with the knowledge that Galvin once lived there, that's when the squad of state troopers and U.S. Marshals set out to round up the rampaging redneck from southern Maryland. Tracking his moves with the assistance of Amtrak police, the posse of state and federal officers were hot on his heels. Among the charges in Ocean City, it's too long to list: aggressive driving, reckless driving, negligent driving, driving a vehicle in excess of prudent and reasonable speed, blowing red lights, and all the others. The chase all started when he stole the truck in Charles County. Even a St. Mary's deputy was looking for him. A peace order was connected to a domestic violence was filed in Charles County District Court to keep Galvin away from the petitioner in every form, but was dismissed in November of 2018 when the petitioner failed to appear. He entered a guilty plea to driving while suspended and failing to attend driving improvement program. After all, he likely participates in the Golden Beach 500 each weekend on Golden Beach Road. That should have counted for improving his driving. He was sidelined on Route 301 northbound at the 2-mile marker by Maryland Transportation Authority police officer W. Harris as he piloted a 2015 red Chrysler 200. A fine of $325 was listed in court records, but he never paid it. He was apprehended and was installed in the Rappahannock Shenandoah Regional Jail and held without bond while waiting extradition to Maryland. That's it.